Welcome back to the county seat. We are continuing our conversation on the withdrawal of the hard mineral claims on the Arizona Strip. In essence, the issue of uranium mining on the Arizona Strip, that portion of land between the border of Utah and the Grand Canyon in northern Arizona. We've had a very lively discussion. We're going to continue it for the next few minutes. Thank you for joining us on the website for our extended streaming version. Any other thing you want to finish up on economic impact? You wanted to talk a little bit more.
I did. I wanted to talk about it. One of the hard things about this is that, in my opinion, there's very little local benefit to this industry. And I don't discount the jobs. These are well-paying jobs, so that's not it. But there are no royalties. The ability of local entities to tax is nil. We did an analysis for Coconino County. The severance tax that we would derive from this is equal to 2 cents on $100 of business. So if you look at all of that, there's virtually, and as far as we can tell, Fredonia's piece of income tax distribution under Arizona law would be about $5,000. So we can't find an economic advantage to local government or even state government from this industry. This industry is exempted from many of the royalties that other mining industries pay. Contrasting that, we have 5 million tourists who generate nearly $500 million for us on the South Rim. And so the ratio of benefit, as far as we can tell, is 1% to 99%. 99% of our dollars are coming from tourism or tourism-related activities. 1% would come from mining-related activities. And I'm talking about income to government. So, and that was one of the things we pointed out in our analysis, and that's one of the reasons why it's being redone, because they had used a model that said that the ratio of tourism dollars in Iowa City would be the same as at the south rim of the Grand Canyon, which was a model that didn't make any sense. So this is a very important thing for us, because we do not want to in any way impact what for us is our primary income generator from an industry that appears to have a very privileged position and does not contribute hardly anything other than if somebody wants to buy a sandwich, we can pick up a little of that.
I don't think we can discount, what the values are in terms of the multiplier effect for wages and jobs, particularly for family incomes here in Kane County. It not only galls me, but I have some difficulty with a county that's got as much voice in Arizona as it has, that gets right on the point where they choke everything off instead of dealing with their Coconino County problem. I don't think we need to suffer this. And in any look at it, there ought to be a way to work around this.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Scott, do you want to referee here at all for a minute?
No, I'm just having fun watching.
Let's talk about the national energy policy. I mean, we haven't been producing nuclear power plants for a number of years, and so the existing plants are making a draw. But that issue is starting to come up again, and even in this environmental environment, if I can use that kind of phrase, that we're in right now, it's becoming a more viable option all the time as other sources of energy become more scarce or more expensive, and people are starting to reanalyze nuclear energy, and that's going to take fuel. So what are your thoughts? I mean, there's some differing of opinion on this as well, but I think it's something that we ought to discuss.
I'd take a poke at that in this respect. Our electrical grid systems and what we're consuming in the way of electricity is really highly dependent upon base-loaded electrical sources. And we're already having coal under attack for carbon issues and things of that nature. Hydroelectric has already been pretty well tamped down to the point. So where do we go to get that base loading? And you don't get it from the so-called green sources unless you've got gigantic batteries that you can plug in somewhere. We need base-loaded fuels for power plants, and I think nuclear probably offers us, safe nuclear, offers us the best alternative for that, or otherwise get ready for 15 and 20 cent a kilowatt hour electricity. I think we've got the solution for that. And if I had a choice on my own electric bill as to whether I would buy some electrical generator from windmills at a higher rate, I think I would take a look at the more economical, safer choice for reliability.
Well, Jim and I don't agree.
Surprise, surprise.
I think Fukushima showed you that we don't have much of a handle on this industry. We almost flooded another nuclear plant on the Missouri River recently. We have no national policy for safe repository for waste, toxic waste from this industry. We thought we had it in Nevada. That's gone away. So right now we have scattered all over the country 55-gallon drums effectively holding nuclear material and no national policy for something that will be toxic for 15,000 years. And so I don't have any problem with an industry where we said, here's the cradle to grave, but we're all focusing on the cradle, you know, the jobs that are generated at the front end, and nobody's focusing on what are we handing to our descendants for 15,000 years when we can't even find a site that doesn't leak now. So I think that, you know, the issue of safe electricity is a huge discussion. You know, I certainly agree that, you know, green sources are expensive. We're putting in a big wind farm in our county, and
That too will draw fire from people.
it has, and we've been through it, but we had rules, you know, and part of the problem we have right now is there's no assurance that any uranium extracted from Arizona will be used domestically. That can be sold anywhere in the world. If there was assurance that it was going to be used domestically, we would feel a lot warmer about it. But this is a global market. Most of that has been sold overseas. And I have not seen any assurance that, you know, any uranium mined or refined is automatically going to nuclear reactors in the United States.
So let me ask you a question. Because the objections that come from Coconino County, or at least, you know, from your point of view, and I don't know whether it's personal or an official position of the county, but it sounds like the concerns could be mitigated if there was a change in national energy policy that allowed a little bit better royalty extraction for the local governments. That would change that
I think
picture.
if we reworked the 1872 mining law, a lot of us would feel a lot better, because in my opinion, that's been a giveaway. And
You know, a lot of the nuclear waste issues really goes back to the 50s and our atomic weapons programs, you know,
It does.
uranium-238. I think, you know, uranium for 235 for power plants and so on has been stuck in the middle of that unnecessarily. There are solutions, I think, that could get around that. And the political gridlock that's resulted in the stuff in Nevada going away is because of the nuclear weapons part of that. And that's a legacy we've got to live with it.
It is.
But come sometime, 2050 or beyond, you know, I don't want my light bulb dimming. I hope to be here.
well, we have 5 Indian tribes in Coconino County, all of whom are objecting to this industry. We are still dealing with the health results of the previous uranium industry on Navajo. And granted, you know, that was more open mining and not breccia pipe mining. But we have lots of citizens in our county, you know, who see this as having left a legacy. People walked away, shut down the mines and left, declared bankruptcy, whatever they had to do. So there's got to be a huge amount of trust building for many of our citizens, you know, in the future.